Craig Jones.
What's going on, everyone? Today we're going to be breaking down some of the techniques at this past UFC Fight Pass Invitational. All right, so I initially had a match scheduled with a purple belt. He ended up pulling out just under 2 weeks before the fight, so I ended up fighting his teammate, some black belt, supposedly world champion. So I'm going to show you guys how I took him down, passed his guard, and strangled him.
Got him moving his feet.
Oh, with the duck under.
I say I do not like how jiu-jitsu players interlace the fingers.
That's a wrap.
Wow.
Lovely sets up.
All right, so the main sequence that allowed me to take my opponent down, right, he interlaced fingers. Now, a lot of times this tends to just be like end up in like a stalemate or whatever, so I like to use these grips as much as possible. So we were kind of forehead to forehead. He was really just like not moving much at all, so I just decided to give. Can you switch stance? So I decided he had a same side lead leg, so I decided to kind of step towards this leg and raise this grip. So it kind of looks like I'm going for a shot here. Naturally, they're going to react and step that leg backwards. So I'm here, he steps backwards, and I'm going to switch my shoulders and drop my knee down to the opposite foot, right? So I raise up, he steps backwards, dropping my knee as I switch my hands, right? The opposite hand is coming up, and ideally I want to shoot this hand in like a circular motion here. So the hand, or I guess the side that I'm shooting to, we're here, and then I drop my knee. I'm shooting this hand in a circular motion as I begin posturing up and looking for a standing rear body lock from here. So, interlace fingers. We have a kind of same side lead leg. I'm going to fake here. He steps backwards, dropping my knee and circling this hand in a circular motion as I circle to a standing rear body lock. All right, so once again, we have interlaced fingers. I'm trying to clear these grips, but if our opponent is staying super tight with these grips, I'm going to start using them against them, right? So I'm going to step and raise this hand up. Naturally, they will step that lead leg backwards. Then I'm going to look to drop my knee down to the opposite foot and circle this hand around and kind of clear this grip. Naturally, that will clear this grip, right? So we're here, drop my knee down, circle. I'm taking a big step, circling behind my opponent, and then I can lock up standing rear body lock from here. That's the ideal finish for like a duck under. But in this instance, in the match, my opponent, the moment I started turning the corner, my opponent pulled guard from here, right? He just accepted the takedown. So I'll begin kind of ending up in this seated versus standing position. And I'm going to immediately look to kind of get an angle and come to like a split squat position. Now, from here, we're going to look to start doing the row drag where I'm pressuring heavy on my opponent's frame here. They'll have a cross frame here, pressuring very, very heavily. With my top hand, I'm going to have a super shallow underhook. Once I'm ready to hit this drag, I'm going to look to posture my body up, my upper body up, as I, with my free hand, clear this grip, passing it by the wrist. And then once his arm is passed, I'm going to look to take this grip and bring his shoulder in towards my chest. Once I have this, I'm going to look to drag, squash both my opponent's knees down to the same side as I circle around to north-south and begin following him as he turtles. So we're in this split squat position. I'm pressuring very heavily on my opponent's frame here. I have a super shallow underhook here, just kind of grabbing by his shoulder. Once I'm ready to hit this drag, I'm pressuring very heavily. I'm going to look to posture up and clear his by his wrist and pass that wrist by my underhook. Now that I have this kind of underhook grip, I'm going to take the shoulder and bring it in towards my chest. Now that I have this, sprawling my hips out and squashing my opponent's knees down to the same side. Once we're here, dragging my knee towards my opponent's head and continue circling towards the turtle position. Usually they will turtle, especially in ADCC rule set. So as he turtles, we're going to continue following. Usually they'll scissor facing the opposite way, so I can begin inserting my bottom hook and then begin attacking the back from there. If we have seatbelt, we fall to the side and we lock up standard back triangle. So once we have this, I usually keep the triangle pretty tight, and I'm going to look to start collecting cross grips, right? So I have my right hand controlling my opponent's left hand, and opposite hands like so. So we're here. Once I'm ready to begin trapping the arm, I'm going to look to trap the top arm. I'm going to extend this hand down as I take, I'll unlock the body triangle I have and trap the arm like so. Ideally, I want to have my calf like right above my opponent's elbow. I don't want it too high because it can be easy for them to kind of bring it up and turn it into just a different position. So I want to have it right above my opponent's elbow. So we're here, arm goes down, leg comes right above my opponent's elbow. Once we're there, I'm going to unlock the wrist grip and grab my shin and begin pulling it across. As I pull it across, I can look to lock a bottom side body triangle. This is ideal. If you can't lock a bottom side body triangle, I'll still just like have kind of a shin to shin grip here, or foot to foot. So we're here, bottom side body triangle is ideal. I'm going to look to begin extending this hand that isn't trapped down and control it with the same side hand. As I'm doing this, I want to grab like the meat of the palm and bring it in towards his chest, and just going for a standard choke where I have this grip, inserting it at the top of the jaw, dragging it across to the opposite side. Now that we're here, I'm going to look to start hiding my thumb or hiding my hand with my chin like so. This stops any sort of hand fighting. If this my opponent's hand was clear, even if I have my chin over my hand, it stops any sort of hand fighting like so. Now that we're here, I'm going to take my free hand, clear it with like a Y block down by his wrist, and then I'm going to look to start bringing my elbow up, concave chest, and inserting my reinforcing hand for this choke. Before I begin the squeeze, I'm going to look to crawl both my hands up my shoulders, and then I can begin reinserting my chest and then retracting the choking hand like so. So we have seatbelt, we fall to the side, we lock a top side body triangle. Once we're here, I'm going to look to start hand fighting for cross grips. As we have cross grips, I'm going to look to extend the top hand down and then unlock my body triangle and lock or toss this leg over just above my opponent's elbow like so, letting go of his wrist and grabbing my ankle. Once we have this, I'm going to look to drag this leg all the way across and lock a bottom side body triangle. Once we have this, extending the other hand down and controlling the meat of the palm with the same side hand. Bringing this in towards my opponent's chest, and then I can begin looking for the choke. We have this configuration with our fingers, dragging it across from the top of my opponent's jaw all the way across to his far shoulder. Once we're here, hiding my hand with my thumb or with my chin, I'm going to let go of this hand. If any sort of hand fighting is going on, I'm going to take a Y block grip and frame by his wrist. Then I'm going to insert my hand by bringing my elbow up, dragging my knuckles on the back of my opponent's head and having concave chest, crawling both my hands up. Once I have this locked up, I can reinsert my chest and then retract the choking hand like so. All right, guys, thank you to the UFC for having me. Make sure you guys drop a comment down below and let me know what you think about my performance.
He might have something cooking right here. Toehold counter by Nicky Rod, though. That's a lot of power.
Nicky Rod looking to turn it over.
Great Gordon Ryan's foot with the toehold.
All right, y'all, time to break down something interesting that happened in my most recent competition against Roberto Jimenez. We had a Mexican standoff, a double toehold situation. And really it stemmed from an inversion in which Mr. Roberto did. So we're in a position like this, right? Almost like a Z-lock situation where he's exposing my heel. So as my opponent started exposing my heel, I knew that I have two options here. Either I thumb post and roll, or I have to find a way to counter. Kind of hard to counter because the foot is laced behind my leg, so pretty tough. So what I did here, as he turned to his side to expose the heel, I picked my right knee up and I grabbed a hold of the toe. I pass it in between so I could catch the foot and then pull it across. So as he's digging for my toe, I start exposing my heel, which kind of takes some pressure off, and then I'm also able to start applying the toe hold. From here, I start pressing the toe hold, which kind of eliminates his threat of going for heel hook, because I'm kind of I'm sliding my knee out, right? I'm applying this toe hold, so this allows me to kind of free my knee. And then I believe while I was applying it, I go to like push him off, and he goes for his own toe hold on my top foot. So yeah, we're in a position like this. So he's going for his toe hold, I'm going for mine, and we're going for the goods. I'm trying to break this thing. Pretty much a reason why I didn't break the foot. I had some decent pops. I had audible pops. I listened to it kind of snap, crackle in there. So I'm grabbing the toe hold, I have my thumb around, and I lace it over, right? First of all, as I'm going for the break, my forearm isn't quite in the right position. It's like a little bit on the ankle as opposed to closer towards the heel. And I'm also using my arms to push and then pull and try to break the foot, which can cause some damage, and it did cause some damage, but didn't get a complete snap, right? When we're going for submissions, we want to give this guy an ability to move. We want to completely break the foot. So when I came back to lab, came back to B team, talked with my guys, we tightened up the technique. First initial thought, we're saying the preference is to, instead of go thumb in, we go thumb out. So we have all 5 fingers on the corner of the toe. In addition, the goal is to slide the secondary hand all the way, get the heel to the crook of my elbow so that everything's in line. Now, another mistake I made is I pushed this away, and I was trying to break it by pushing the foot to the butt. Well, that doesn't work quite as well as, again, bringing the heel to the crook of the elbow and having my forearm completely aligned with the heel and ankle. From here, in addition, I also want to glue it towards my chest. And now when I break, I'll use my core and back to completely face the ceiling and go for the break. So the slight difference of having the forearm just a little bit too high, thumb wrapped around, and then I'm pushing with right hand and pulling with left elbow, gets some pops but not a complete break. If I could go back in time, what I would do is I would slide my thumb off the top, so I have all 5 fingers pushing on the toes. I'd slide my forearm deeper so I'm aligned with the ankle and heel, and I bring that heel all the way to the crook and corner of my elbow. Now, third aspect of it to get the full break is I would glue my chest and core to the foot. Now, when I come to turn, I'm using all of my core and body to completely break my opponent's foot. So, just a few aspects of the toe hold that helped me cause damage, but also prevented me from fully breaking the foot.
Next 5 minutes for all the marbles in this trilogy.
I used an elbow pass, typical wrestling elbow pass, in order to access my opponent's hips and get him down to the mat. So Roberto takes collar tie, I grip the elbow. I touch chin to chest, and I pass this off the back of the head. What this does is exposes his hips and body. So as soon as I pass, I shoot right hand in, and I chase my body lock. He's turning to face me, and I'm able to swing around and put him down towards the mat. And the second he goes down to the mat, we have a series where he's Granbying, I'm chasing the back. I end up getting my boots in and scoring points and chasing the rear naked choke from there. So again, a very simple fundamental elbow pass. Let's go on this side. So opponent goes collar tie, and I use this collar tie instead of like building height to create a shelf where it's easier from the collar tie. I use elbow pass. I grip the corner of the elbow, I touch chin to chest. I pass this off the back of my head as I shoot my right hand in. I grab a grip of the body lock, and I find myself standing with a body lock, putting him down towards the ground where we're creating a scramble, and I'm accessing my opponent's back.
To get his grips in, here comes that wrestle up.
I like that.
Single leg wrestle up. Initially, my goal against Roberto was to entangle legs, but my reactions kind of just reacted, right? I like to think in my matches, but a lot of times I'm just kind of doing the things that I do in practice, which is just reactions. So the moment Roberto stepped into my guard, right, I was in a position as so. I free my front foot. I start heisting up for the single leg. From here, as I heist up for the single leg, he gives me a slight sprawl. And as he sprawls, I use my head and my arms to circle around where I switch to double, and then land on top of my opponent, typically chasing body lock or looking for the guard pass soon after. I was initially shin to shin, but I freed shin to shin so I can start heisting up. As I heist it up, I get to the single leg. He sprawls, and I use my head, and I shifted my legs to circle down towards the mat, switching to the double leg, and obviously if he's sitting up, I'll transition to the body lock from here as well. So I have an entire instructional on this, seated, or it's called Slay the Wrestle of Guard versus a standing opponent, where I go over a bunch of sequences that are very similar to this. So pulling guard, wrestling up against an opponent that doesn't want to be on bottom before someone bottom. I hope you guys enjoyed this content. Be sure to like and subscribe to the B Team Jiu-Jitsu YouTube channel. In addition, if you want to indulge in more voiceovers and technique breakdowns, check out B Team at Submeta.
Into this 50-50. Oh man, a lot of pressure.
So J-Rod wasn't the only one that had a nice submission victory. Craig Jones also had a phenomenal performance and managed to get a very quick heel hook on Lovato. So today I'm going to be breaking down both the entry and the finish for you guys. So Craig was, Lovato was down on 2 knees, right? And Craig went to his standard knee shield guard here. Now, initially, what Craig did is he came up with his left hand as a collar tie just to kind of get like a posture up reaction from Lovato, because if Lovato's head is super low here, right, his head's kind of like a barrier between me and this far leg. So what he ended up doing is he ended up coming up with a left hand collar tie like so. He started pulling his head down, and then Lovato went to clear and push off like so. As Lovato postured up, Craig kind of brought his knees in towards his chest and curled up like so he could start to get this scoop grip. Now once he got this scoop grip, he immediately started locking hands, and now from here he started driving his left knee across like so, right? This is just going to help keep the top person's weight off of you. Now from here, he started pulling with this, right? And this kind of got Lovato's knee off the mat. And from here, I start flaring my knee out towards my left-hand side as my right foot comes up to the hip like so. Now, Lovato decided to start standing up in this position. So as he stood up, Craig continued this reap across, and he ended up locking a full figure 4, so he has like a far hip ashi. Now, Lovato started kind of standing and squaring up with him. So from here, he took an Achilles grip, and he got control over this secondary leg. And from here, Craig did a really good job of not trying to rush things, right? A lot of people in that position would just try and catch the heel and go, but he did a really good job of first breaking Lovato down to a hip to limit his mobility, and then focused on finishing after. So he got control over both legs. From here, it's fairly easy to start sitting your opponent down. Now, Craig initially kind of hunted for an outside heel hook for a second, but he felt like he couldn't get it. So from here, instead, he decided to lean back, pop his hips up, and he started passing it across towards like almost like a 50-50 position, but it's a little bit different because my legs aren't locked on the outside. Now, from here, Craig managed to start stuffing the leg underneath and locking up, and I think Lovato actually grabbed his top leg and started passing it across towards this side. So from here, Craig had like an X-legs position. Now from here, Craig ended up locking up his hands, and he ended up doing a belly up finish. So from here, all I'm thinking about doing is just touching my right shoulder down towards the mat as I begin to hip in, right, and just roll with it a little bit. Lovato started to roll with it a little bit, and he ended up finishing with both shoulders down on the mat, bridging up towards the ceiling. So once again, from another angle, right, Lovato was down on 2 knees. Craig had his knee shield in place. From here, Craig did a good job of taking this collar tie to force a posture up reaction. So Lovato's head gets out of the way. From here, he used his right hand, and he started scooping into this far leg. He immediately started locking his hands, and he started driving this left knee across. Now from here, I can use my left knee to prevent him from putting his weight on me, and I can start flaring my left knee out to bring his knee off the mat as I bring my right foot to the hip. Now from here, Lovato decided to start building up to his feet, so as he built up, Craig shot that leg across, and he locked up a full figure 4. Now Craig did a really good job of not rushing things here, and Lovato ended up squaring up and standing up like so, which gave access to this secondary leg. Craig controlled both of his legs and started shooting his opponent's hips down towards the mat. Now initially, he hunted for an outside heel hook for a second, but feel like he couldn't get the heel exposure. So from here, instead, he elected to start hipping in and passing that foot across. Now from here, he stuffed the legs underneath the armpit and he started catching the heel. And then from here, he ended up transferring his leg across to the other side like so. So he almost has like an X-legs position. Now from here, he decided to finish with a belly up finish. So he just started dropping his right shoulder down towards the mat. Lovato turned with it a little bit till he got both shoulders down towards the mat. And Craig just continued to hip into the side of the knee as he raised his hands to get a nice heel hook finish. If you guys like that breakdown, make sure you check out our submeta. We've got tons of rolling breakdown footage, Q&As, techniques, all that good stuff. So make sure you head over to our submeta and check it out.